Welcome to our YouTube channel, where lost empires breathe again and the secrets of history refuse to stay buried. If you're drawn to the mysteries your teachers never dared to mention, if you crave stories that challenge everything you thought you knew, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join us as we journey into the shadows of the past. Today, we unerase Tartaria. The train glided through the Urals just before dawn, its wheels singing a lonely song on rails older than the Soviet dream. Amelia Novak sat by the window, her breath fogging the glass, counting the seconds between the whistle's cries. It had been 8 days since the package arrived, a battered wooden tube sealed with crimson wax that smelled of cedar and distant storms. Inside, she found a parchment map, drawn in ochre ink, marking the coordinates of a city that didn't officially exist. The label read only, Citadel, Tartaria 1683. The date mocked everything she'd learned. Every textbook insisted Tartaria was a myth, a cartographer's fantasy scribbled on old globes. But the parchment was real, the ink's signature impossible to fake. Amelia's heart, usually steady, now beat with the urgency of a war drum. She remembered her grandfather's stories by the fire tales of towers that touched the sky, copper domes humming with energy that could light half a continent. She'd laughed then. Tonight, that laughter felt distant, replaced by a shiver of possibility. What if the old man had only repeated what someone once saw? The train screeched into Tumen. Under a flickering lamp stood Professor Nikolai Mentor, her skeptic, the man who once guided her thesis on collective cultural hallucinations. His wire-rimmed glasses caught the light, turning his eyes to coins. "You look frozen," he said, pressing a warm flask of honeyed tea into her hand. "But you also look convinced. Show me." In the silence of a hotel room, they bent over the map. Amelia traced the star-shaped citadel, its walls drawn with perfect geometry, each bastion aligned to the cardinal points. "Venetian engineers couldn't match this until the 17s, Mirov muttered, his voice low, as if the wallpaper might be listening. Amelia flipped the map. On the back, an inscription shimmered beneath old wax. "When the mud swallowed our spires, we carved our memories into crystal and buried the light. Seek the heart, the crystal will sing." Mud. The word triggered half-remembered rumors, 19th century tales of mysterious mud floods that swallowed cities from St. Petersburg to San Francisco. Historians called them exaggerations, but Amelia recalled old photographs. Windows half buried beneath new sidewalks, doorways opening onto streets a story higher than their thresholds. The world, it seemed, had quietly risen on stilts. Morning came, pale and cold. They set out in a rattling Lada, driving east across snowfields that stretched like endless ribbons. The coordinates pointed them toward the Siberian steppe, a place where maps faded into legend. 3 times military helicopters thundered overhead, and each time Mirov's knuckles whitened on the wheel. "They're not looking for us," Amelia said, though her heart pounded in protest. By twilight, they reached the foothill called Makir, a simple rise ringed by birches whispering in the wind. Its shape matched the star fort on the map, but centuries of earth had hidden its angles. They climbed the slope, snow swirling around them. Amelia's boot struck something hard. She knelt, brushing aside the turf, and uncovered a hexagonal brass plate etched with glowing sigils. A faint vibration tingled through her fingers. "Crystal will sing." She pressed her ear to the plate and heard, impossibly, a chord. 5 notes swirling together in a triumphant major key. Stone, brass, and centuries were humming. Mirov's gasp broke the spell. "Electromagnetic resonance?" he whispered, eyes wide. Before Amelia could answer, a voice called from the tree's calm, almost apologetic. Dr. Novak, Professor Mirov, step away from the artifact. Men in charcoal gray coats emerged, insignias hidden, boots shining like obsidian. One held a file marked Archivum Obscura. Archivum Obscura. Amelia recognized the name. Rumors spoke of a secret group dedicated to controlling history, erasing inconvenient truths. Officially, it didn't exist. The leader spoke again, softer. The object you uncovered is unstable. It belonged to an empire that perished for good reason. We will secure it. In return, you will receive compensation and forgetting pills. Forgetting pills whispers of drugs that could erase memory. Mirov's shoulder brushed Emilia's, a silent question. Yield or run? Her answer was a sharp pivot. She pressed her palm to the brass and whispered, "Sing." The plate responded. The ground rippled outward like water struck by a deep note. The hum grew into a choral roar. Trees bent, their branches crackling with blue sparks. The graycoats staggered, rifles shaking. A geyser of earth burst upward, revealing a spiral staircase descending into a turquoise-lit chamber. Amelia grabbed Mirov's sleeve, and together they plunged into the unknown. The staircase led to a vast octagonal room, its walls fused from quartz, edges so smooth that light refracted into halos. In the center hovered a crystal obelisk, spinning without support, veins of silver light pulsing inside. Friezes along the floor told stories airships over spires, children learning under radiant coils, rivers harnessed by turbines shaped like lotus flowers. Tartaria had not been a backwater. It was a symphony of engineering and art, centuries ahead of its time. Mirov's voice trembled. If this survives carbon dating, every textbook falls apart. Amelia stepped closer to the obelisk. On its surface, an inscription bloomed not carved, but glowing from within. The letters shifting until they formed Polish words her grandfather once taught her. Memory belongs to the brave. A sudden snap echoed above the graycoats, digging through the earth, resuming their pursuit. With no time to study, Amelia searched for anything she could carry. Beside the obelisk lay a crystal cylinder. She picked it up. Images flickered across its surface star. Maps, blueprints, and the portrait of a man with gentle eyes. Luca Terran, Chief Luminar. She hid the cylinder in her coat. They escaped through catacombs lined with murals, migrants fleeing a wave of mud, scholars sealing archives, a council signing a decree titled Dissolution Act, dated 1853. Tartaria hadn't fallen in war. It had chosen to vanish, burying itself beneath orchestrated mud floods to escape rising empires. Self-sacrifice as camouflage. They surfaced miles away, beside a frozen river. The night air tasted of iron and consequence. Behind them, explosions collapsed the stairwell, sealing the obelisk once more. Archivum Obscura would search every stone by morning. The chase drove them across continents. In Kazan, they bribed a freighter captain. In Istanbul, they found Ottoman logs referencing Tartari engines that could fly. Each discovery cost them sleep and earned a new pursuer in gray. But every step fueled Emilia's resolve, each secret, a heartbeat in the music of the plate. Venice brought the cruelest twist. In the Biblioteca Marciana, they found letters between Luca Taran and Galileo's last apprentice, describing luminous orbs that floated by sound. As Amelia photographed the pages, Mirov's phone lit up with a single message. Archive secured. You are free, Nikolai. Loyalty rewarded. He wouldn't meet her eyes. The Archivum had reached him first. Her mentor had betrayed her. She tasted the bitterness but didn't let it stop her. Betrayed scholars fill every age. She pocketed the photos and walked away, determined to keep the mission alive. In Prague, she joined a gathering of renegade archivists. A Senegalese cryptologist named Adwoa decrypted the cylinder's core. A hologram appeared Luca Terran himself, his voice warm and steady. "To the seeker who awakens our beacon," he said, "know this. Power untempered becomes empire. Empire untempered becomes erasure. We chose silence so that future hearts could choose better. If you would resurrect our knowledge, do so not for dominion, but for harmony. The final cache lies wherever echoes sleep beneath the lion's water." The image faded. Where echoes sleep beneath the lion's water. Amelia's mind raced lions of Venice, fountains crowned by stone felines. But water that sings with echoes belonged to Rome, to the Fontana dei Leoni at Piazza del Popolo, where 4 marble lions pour endless streams. She traveled overnight by train, hiding among students and nuns. At dawn, golden light spilled across the piazza. Tourists snapped photos, unaware of the centuries whispering below. She waited for noon's lull, then knelt beside a marble lion. The stone was cold, but faintly vibrating. She pressed the crystal cylinder to the basin. A harmonic tone shivered through the lion's throat, and water surged. The marble slid aside, revealing a stair spiraling into light. Below, a circular vault held glass tablets arranged like petals around a central dais. Each tablet projected entire library's agricultural plans, medical treatises, diagrams of sonic propulsion. At the center stood a small crystal pyramid, engraved with Taran's final words. "Knowledge, once liberated, belongs to every willing mind. Guard it with conscience, not chains." Tears stung Amelia's eyes, the weight of a civilization's farewell gift. But joy tangled with dread. Whoever controlled this vault could change the world or destroy it. Footsteps echoed above. Archivum agents flooded the piazza. She had minutes. With shaking hands, she triggered the vault's dissemination protocol. Holographic windows opened, asking for destination servers. She entered public repositories, open-source networks, university databases across 5 continents. One by one, petals glowed green, uploading. Stone thundered behind her. The vault door slammed as gray. Coats descended. She backed toward the dais. "Too late," she said, her voice steady. "Tartaria's memory is free." The leader's eyes burned. "Do you understand what chaos you've unleashed?" "I understand what hope looks like," she replied. The vault's failsafe triggered. Brilliant light filled the chamber, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. When it faded, the tablets had melted into inert glass knowledge copied, but no longer hoardable. The Archivum's prize was gone. They arrested her, of course. Interrogations blurred into sterile rooms and endless days. But as weeks passed, she saw the ripple effects engineers discussing ancient levitation, botanists marveling at forgotten crop rotations, all published online. Universities debated Tartaria's reality. Crowdsourced analysis confirmed the crystalline data matched pre-industrial Siberia. The empire they erased was rewriting itself into the world's memory. On the eve of her secret trial, the courtroom doors burst open. An international coalition of scholars filed briefs, arguing that suppressing Amelia would confirm the very conspiracy authorities denied. Under global scrutiny, the charges vanished. She walked free into the spring sunlight, the bells of a Roman church ringing in salute. Months later, she returned to her childhood village in Poland. Her grandfather's cottage still smelled of pine and pipe smoke. She lit a candle by his portrait and whispered, "You were right." Outside, fireflies drifted in silent constellations, and somewhere in the distance, perhaps only in her memory, she heard the faint, triumphant 5-note chord of a crystal still singing beneath Siberian soil. History books would need rewriting, and power would tremble. But Amelia understood Luca Taran's warning. Knowledge must be shared, not hoarded. She founded the Institute of Harmonious Futures, a place where engineers and poets worked side by side, where children learned science through music, where discoveries were shared like songs. Far away, hidden elevators of quartz and brass likely still waited for the next brave soul. Empires may fall to mud, and archivists in gray coats may cast long shadows, but memory, once sung, endures. And so Tartaria, the empire they tried to erase, rose again first as a whisper, then as a chorus, finally as a promise that even the deepest silence can be broken by one relentless note of truth.